Welcome to Forte Analysis. I'm your host, Aaron Seneviratne, and today we will be viewing the GTD Road Atlanta race-winning pit stop. Let's get into the video. Okay, now that we've seen it at normal speed, now we will be viewing and analyzing it in slow motion. Here we go. We have Forte team principal Aaron Seneviratne here to help analyze this pit stop.
Thank you, Aaron. Here we go. This is going to be a short tank. The car is going to come in with quite a bit of fuel in the tank, so we should only be needing about 19 seconds of fuel to fill it up. One of the Mercedes AMGs, I believe, goes by us. They're ahead of us, so our goal is to kind of try and leapfrog some of these cars by having a short fill, really quick pit stop with the guys, getting all the tires done. So we got to get the tires, drink bottle, reposition the windshield, wiper, and then also try and add some tape, I believe, for the oil cooler. I try and get the oil temperature up, and that's going to be Daniel's job after he gets done with the tires. So fueling, Steven's going to be doing the fueling, Brandon's going to be doing the dead man. You could see him in between the fuel rig. Ty is going to be on fire bottle. He's a little bit off the screen, but he's will be coming around the back of the car, and he'll be manning the fire bottle in case there's any kind of emergency. Front hose is going to get handled by Guy, and then the rear hose is going to get handled by Ben, and he's also going to hand down a tire. Cos is going to stop the car and then hand the front inside tire to Dion. Drink bottle change will get done by Filippo. He normally does the driver changes. On this occasion, we're not doing a driver change. Here comes the car into the frame. Last time we overshot the pit box and got a penalty, so this time we're making a nice clean stop. The guys have to be careful not to jump over the wall before the car comes to a complete stop. It's pretty close on this frame. At normal speed, it's hard to tell, but we look like we might be pretty close to being on the ground there by the car comes to a complete stop. But so Daniel's already pretty much on the ground now, getting the wheel nut. We could go ahead and start zipping the wheel nut off before the car goes up in there. Johnny's doing the air jack, so he's got the long extended air jack wand that goes into a cone. That'll put the car up in the air. Now Dion's got to be careful not to get run over by this Aston that's coming in. You know, they're about 2 or 4 pit boxes up the road. But we still got to be careful because they're going to be turning into their box pretty early. So he's got to carry that tire around. He's going to place the tire on the ground for Johnny to hang. Johnny's just plugged in the air one. The car should be going up in there pretty soon. And he's also carrying a tire, the outside rear tire that he's going to place, that is going to come back after he hangs the front tire. He'll come back and hang that tire for Daniel. Yeah, the car is going up in the air as we speak. Steven should be already plugged into the fuel, and fuel should be flowing. And then please notice that quarter window behind the driver window. It's counting down. There's a countdown clock. It's 2 seconds right now. So keep an eye on that throughout the pit stop to see the progress of each corner or each side of the tires getting changed and when the fuel comes out. Dion should be getting the wheel nut just about off and starting to place the tire to the side. Daniel's looks like he's already got the wheel nut off, and he should be pulling the tire out of the way, and Ben is going to be dropping the tire to him. The space is kind of tight back there, so there's not a lot of room between the wall and the car to get that job done and align it square. Now, when we do the tire change, if you're doing a full tank's 40 seconds. So the guys have a little bit more time, but the whole goal is still to get the tire change done as soon as possible and drop the car. When you drop the car, the distance between the fuel tank and the car changes, which makes the fuel flow a little bit faster. That fuel flow rate is up to us to control, and we normally control it with a restrictor, and that's the way we do it. We average it out between about 18-20 seconds up in the air, and then the rest of the flow taking place while the car is on the ground. So Dion's got the tire out. Hanging the tire is not an easy task. Johnny's there, he's got to kneel down and he grabs a wheel a certain way. He's got to square it up with the fender well hole, and then you got to do like a slight little rotation with your wrist to get the wheel pins to align, and then make sure it's firmly in there, and then he gets out of the way of Dion, and then Dion just hammers the wheel nut on, make sure it's tight, and then Guy will be pulling the hose out, and he'll be running across, you'll see, and then Cuss will place the tire for him. Now Johnny's done with the front tire, so he's gonna be running towards the back tire. He's gonna go and grab the tire and get ready for Daniel to come around the car to start changing the tire. And if you look, Filippo is got the drink bottle change, so we're at 6 seconds right now. Two tires are pretty much done at this point. Filippo's got the drink bottle change. At times he also does a data stick. We have a mandatory data stick that we got to swap out for scrutineering, but that window is already passed. So in this stop, it was just purely a drink bottle swap out. So he's done with that. He normally throws the other bottle over the wall. I see Joe back there. Him or somebody else will grab that. And then they kind of get out of the way, and all this stuff goes by pretty fast. It looks very slow in this slow motion shot. It's this nice little form for Dion running across the bumper of the car, making it as tight as possible to make that time short as possible to get to the other side. So that looked really good. So he will just go get that front wheel off, and then Cos will just bounce and roll the tire right to him with the outside of the rim facing Dion, so he could just place it right into the fender well, square it up, line it up with the pegs, pick up the gun, make sure the gun is switched now, go in the other direction, and then he just drives the wheel nut home. Then he's done. He's still got to get the windshield tear off done, so that's a job he has to not the tear off, but he's got to reposition the windshield for Loris so he could see better at night. I think that got misplaced. The windshield wiper got misadjusted when we pulled the tear off on the last stop. So Daniel's at the wheel. You see a piece of green on his pants, green tape on his pants. He's going to utilize that later. You'll see in slow motion he has to look at the tape, make sure it's on the glue side, and then he sticks it on the, I believe, the oil radiator to kind of get the temperatures done. So now we're at like 10 seconds gone by. Ben is extended the hose out. Now he's also got to retract the hose. Johnny is getting ready to hang the wheel. You could see how he holds that wheel. Soon as Daniel gets it out of the way. On that stop, our wheel gun was a little bit slow to take the nut off on the rear when I noticed on full speed. But it didn't cause, it just made it very tight for Daniel to get the tape on the radiator. So those two tires on the outside could stay there. We normally like to clear them, but in this occasion they can stay. We're not required to remove those tires, but that outside front tire we have to be careful because the car does kick out when you leave pit lane, with the wheel spinning. So if you hit a tire or run over a hose, it's a drive-through penalty. So you'll see Cos leaning over and try and grab that tire and get that out of the way, just so we avoid making contact with him. So at this time, Loris is 13 seconds have gone by. Loris is got the throttle pushed to the floor. That should activate the auto start and auto launch. There's two messages on the dash that'll tell him that that mode is activated. We've been practicing utilizing it, and it just makes a big difference how quickly the car launches out of the box. It makes everything simple. When the driver changing, it's mandated by the FIA that you have to have a driver input for the car to auto start. So the only way, for the drivers, what Lamborghini's strategy has been, their foot is free while they're buckling up by themselves. Like once Filippo gets them in, they'll be doing some of the belts themselves, so their hands are free, so they don't have to utilize their hands to start the car. They could just hold the throttle wide open with their foot while they're finalizing the belt change. But in this occasion, we're not doing a driver change, so it's just he's just waiting for us. So Mike Johnson, we different teams do it. Mike Johnson will be releasing the car on the radio. That's how we've done. There's a fast lane and the slow lane, so we use very precise language. For lane 1, the slow lane, it's clear 1 and clear 2. So we normally clear the car, clear 1, clear 1, clear 2. So that's how that's done. At this point, Mike Johnson's also doing like a countdown. He's got a stopwatch. He'll be counting down, saying this 15 seconds have gone by, or he'll be counting down. So by now it'll be about 4 to 5 seconds to go, is what he'll be counting down to. 16 seconds, rear tires done. And those lights that are flashing also, those are the, when you come into the pits with the pit speed limiter, the Lamborghini lights, they do a different sequence of flashing. That's what you see, like the lights flashing in and out. Front tires done. Dion is reaching over, getting that Viper repositioned. The car is now coming down on the ground. Daniel's looking for that piece of tape. He's got it peeled off of his fire suit. Kaz is leaning over to grab that tire, get that out of the way. The car is now auto started, and with the full throttle, it just sits at about 4,000 RPM on the rev limiter, and it's very noticeable. So it just gets everybody on edge now. The car is just sitting there with the fuel line still plugged in on the limiter. If you're taking 40 seconds of fuel, they come off the throttle. We don't sit on the limiter, and then when we get closer, we go back to full throttle to get it on the limiter. The car doesn't go anywhere till there's a button. You push that button and it just automatically launches it. There's no clutch involved. That's all automatic on this car. It does have a clutch, but it's automatic clutch. So right now, Dion's got it done. Daniel just placed the tape. Fuel is coming out. We should be about 17, 18 seconds. By now, Loris is being given clear 1, clear 2, if it's clear for 2. Otherwise, you just stick with clear 1 and you merge in if cars are coming down the fast lane. Daniel barely gets out of the way, and the car is launching at 19 seconds. What an amazing pit stop. Really good job. Well executed. This was our last pit stop of the race. At this point, we didn't know that we could make it to the end. I think it was like an hour and a half, hour 20 something minutes to go. But pretty much everybody was on the same strategy at this point. Everybody was leaving pit lane on this stop with full tanks and a new set of tires. But we just happened to leapfrog a bunch of cars because we already had fuel in the tank, so our pit stop was shorter because we didn't have to take a full tank. We were good with 18 seconds of fuel. You'll see the car going down pit lane, passing a couple of cars that are still on pit lane. That car that came in front of us, their countdown clock is at like 18 seconds right now. So depending on how much fuel they had to take, but we were able to definitely beat that car. They did come in after that, so it's not a big deal. We should have beaten that car, but then we are beating a couple of other cars on pit lane. So overall, it was a great way to finish the season. Thank you for everybody for practicing and making this season a success, and then stops like this possible. Hats off to all our crew. They work hard. They take this stuff seriously, and it paid off. And all the drivers, Patrick Liddy, Misha Goshenberg, and then Lori Spinelli, amazing drives from them throughout the season. When it mattered, they made it count. Thank you, Aaron. This is great. You did a great video. Hopefully you'll be able to do some more analysis for us and other teams, potentially. So let me know if you need any help in the future. I'll be happy to help.
Okay.
3.
Congratulations again to the Forte Racing and Lamborghini team for their first ever Petit Le Mans win, ending their winless streak since Long Beach 2021. Wish everybody a good offseason and looking forward to the upcoming 2024 season. And please tune in for the next video where we will be getting the team's inside perspective by interviewing some of the crew members that were part of this race-winning pit stop. And don't forget to like and subscribe.